What's up, y'all? Welcome to a new episode of Open Letters to a Survivor. I am James. I am moderating tonight. I got two of the queens, two of the lovely queens here with me tonight. We have Lady Poet and we have K Love. Cassandra Williams is getting some much needed R&R tonight. Of course, we are going to have the King Pastor Tim. And he come in and give us that motivational minute at the end of the show. But listen, I don't have a whole lot to say tonight except make sure you guys download Apple Music. Make sure you download Odyssey. Make sure that you download TuneIn so that you can get UG Digital Radio. The podcasts are going to begin playing on the radio station just to kind of promote the podcast throughout the week. So we are getting our pre-programmed content together, and some things are going to go live this week. So that's really it. We need your support. We appreciate your support, but we need your continued support. So make sure that you guys download those apps so that you can listen to the radio station. Of course, the podcasts are running on all of the respective websites. And make sure that you get your comments and stuff in tonight so that we can get you up on screen, because we want to acknowledge you being here with us tonight. So all of that said, I'm going to kick it off to the queen, one of the queens, Lady Poet. It is all yours, sunshine.
Okay, and thank you all for tuning in today to another episode again of Open Letters to a Survivor. So, of course, I have my talented co-host with me today, K Love, and Cassandra will be joining us again next week. You don't want to miss that. You know, we all need some time just for ourselves to get our together, but we do miss her, and we are sending her love tonight. Today, I'm sorry, we are continuing our series on Let's Go to Therapy. I'll start with the letter, then I'll introduce tonight's guest. Dear Survivor, yes, you, survivor, warrior, and fighter, do something for you. I know you feel that you may be down, you may not feel like yourself, and your skies may be cloudy. That's okay. It's time to stop holding in that guilt, that pain, that heartache, and that sadness. I know we have been conditioned that what happens in our homes stay in our homes, or if we're not feeling ourselves, we just need to get over it. But do something for me. Bet on yourself. That doesn't mean that you're being selfish or you giving up on everybody else. It just means that you're doing something for you, and that's healing yourself. Heal you, because there's a version of you that you have yet to meet. There's a version of you that you owe it to yourself to find. Yes, the pain was not our fault, but healing is our responsibility. Healing is hard, I know, but necessary. Get you a good therapist and heal. We got you. We believe in you. We have resources. And from all of us, it's worth it. I promise. Love, K Love, Cassandra Williams, the team at Open Letters to a Survivor, today's guest, Alexandria Mays, and me, Lady Poet Speaks. So thank you for that. And so today's guest again is Miss Alexandria Mays. I'll let her tell you more about herself when she pops in. But she is our therapist for this week's Let's Go to Therapy. So we welcome you to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. So glad to be here.
Thank you for coming on. I know you and I talked some months ago, and when we were planning this, and then I wasn't able to meet, and you did meet with Cassandra, but Cassandra's not here today. So, thank you so much for coming on again. I am Lady Poet Speaks. I'm the creator and founder, and then I have my right hand, my other co-host, K Love. So we do appreciate you coming on today.
Yes, and I'm glad to be here, glad to share some knowledge and some encouragement.
Thank you. And I'm going to turn it over to K Love with the first question.
Well, again, thank you. Thank you for showing up and being here with us this evening. And my first question is for you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Of course, yeah. So I'm Alex. I'm a licensed therapist and I provide services in the state of Tennessee as well as Louisiana. Now, just a little about myself. I've always been curious about people, the way they think, and also how they express their feelings as far back as I can remember, even in my childhood, which was one of the reasons that motivated me to enter into the psychology field, the mental health field. And I'm always honored when people reach out to me seeking help and allow me to participate in their healing. So in 2020, me and my husband decided to open up a group practice. Now that was at the height of COVID. So we started off initially as just a telehealth organization. Last year we purchased our building, our office space. So now we're able to do a combination of both telehealth or in person. And we also decided to, do more for the community. And we have a nonprofit, which is the Mindful Care Foundation. And the goal for that is to increase access to care through webinars, conferences, as well as wellness programs. So that has been my mission, just to encourage people to seek help for their mental health.
Awesome. That's so exciting.
Mhm.
It is. And thank you for doing that because we built this platform on getting people of color to get help. So seeing people, like you and your husband that look like us to, reach out to get the help, and just knowing that even if they're not us or whatever, it's just mental health in a society period that is not talked about. So I appreciate that you guys actually have that, and you do have telehealth services as well as like a brick and mortar location where they can go.
Yes, because there's such a stigma in our community. Don't get me wrong, we've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I tell everybody that's my favorite day of the week. When I get to go and speak with that person that's unbiased, that's gonna talk to me, and that's gonna help me. That's my favorite way. But it took something like that to somebody else to tell me it's okay to do it for me to actually step out and do it.
Mm.
So I'll go into our next question. What is your approach to therapy, and how do you tailor it to each client's needs?
I like to focus on the relationship the client has with themselves as well as wellness. You know, we live in a society where everything is so fast paced. We truly do. And it's not uncommon for people to feel guilty or shame thinking about wanting to relax or rest. Don't get me wrong, we do have goals. Some people have goals that they want to seek out and accomplish. But because of the fast pace, it's hard to really narrow down a pathway to those goals. And it might even become or feel directionless or being pulled in multiple directions, whether their goal is to improve their mental health or connect with other people. It could even be goals related to their career, where they see themselves 5 or 10 years from now. And it often leads them to feel restless or stagnant. Because sometimes life is lifing for a lot of us.
Yeah.
So, in that stagnant feeling, they may even start to feel stuck. And it's not uncommon for people to have learned different ways to get unstuck, but they hit a point where what they used to do to keep moving forward doesn't work anymore. It just doesn't. And they become paralyzed mentally, emotionally, and physically because the mind and the body is connected. You know, what impacts the mind could manifest in the body and vice versa. So, with that being said, the relationship, that space to truly take a moment out to process your thoughts and feelings and get to understand yourself is an approach I love. And in addition to that, with the wellness, I get to know my clients. I get to know their thoughts, how they think about things, how they've been coping thus far, and even in their day to day activities. Like, what is life like for you that has gotten you to the point where you need to seek therapy. So I do a self-care assessment. Let's assess where you are emotionally. Let's assess where you are mentally, socially, even spiritually. Like, how are you also operating in the work environment? Because let's be honest, most of us as adults, we spend majority of our time at work.
Mhm.
So that is an important factor to consider. What kind of toll is work taking on you mentally and emotionally? So I do a self-care assessment, and I combine that with your relationship with yourself. It's not uncommon for people to prioritize everything in other people other than themselves. So our goal is to teach that balance. Because in order to show up for work, or in order to show up for people you love and care about, you have to have a good idea of how to take care of yourself to be present in the version that you would like to be, the healthy version of yourself.
That's
Yeah.
great.
That's really great, because that part about work, oh my gosh, that is so true. And we end up living our lives according to how we work and around work instead of the opposite. So I mean that's really great, because that's so important for us to find balance. I need some of that. Jesus. So, what role does research and evidence-based practice play in the way you conduct therapy?
It plays a big role. It's my ethical duty not to cause any harm. So, research encourages learning and development for all therapists. It's important for me to stay up to date with the new findings, and eventually, for the most part, it will benefit clients in the long term. However, research base is just general framework. So as a therapist, I can construct, pull out, and assess what will help my clients individually, especially when I consider their culture, or the ethnicity of what would help them improve with their therapy. I'm very person centered. When you come to therapy, it is about you. It's me creating a therapeutic environment to help you. And I'm really big on finding and creating, or even reframing, thoughts that are supportive of you. So I do like cognitive behavioral therapy. I'll just call it CBT for short. However, I do primarily work with people of color. And since CBT is really big on how thoughts about situations can impact how we feel, behave, and how we may see situations, there is an understanding that that approach may not work in certain situations. Like, for example, microaggression or racism. There is no way to reframe that experience. So I'm able to take out certain aspects of it, of where it may be beneficial, and educate my clients on situations where it's not. And we have to take a different approach, because there is a such thing as racial trauma.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
honestly think people, I'm sorry, K-Love, but
No.
I honestly think that people don't realize like racial trauma like is a real thing. I just got into an argument with someone not too long ago that said, if you had to go in the store and potentially be followed just because of how you look, I don't think you understand that. Carrying that on you and then carrying other things on you, that just when I wake up every day, with my skin color look like maybe something different. So I'm glad you say that, because that lets people not only have insight, but things that they might not understand or they might not know. So thank you.
Mhm.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, because I've been followed in the store before.
Right.
That should not be a common thing, but unfortunately, that is a shared experience that many of us have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So my next question goes a little bit along with what you just talked about, but it does say, have you worked with clients with diverse backgrounds, or those facing specific cultural, gender, sexual identity challenges? How do you incorporate cultural competencies into your work?
I make sure I create a very safe therapeutic environment that's very inclusive. And I have worked with a lot of people from diverse backgrounds. And culture isn't just about race or ethnicity. There's layers to culture. You know, we have to consider religion. We have to consider the social culture or even finances, gender identity, sexual orientation. Our culture shapes our worldview. So even though my caseload is predominantly people of color, it doesn't mean we all share the same worldview or share a lot of experiences that are similar. We may have different experiences, and I need to be mindful of that and learn and be open to.
Thank you, thank you.
Mhm.
And hey Iris, we do see you on. Thank you for tuning in today. I did have to stop and say that. Um, but I thank you for incorporating those things because sometimes they don't incorporate them, so they feel, people can feel left out when talking about those situations.
Right. And that also includes, I think you mentioned the spiritual aspect of it too.
Uh-huh.
Because a lot of people are of the belief that they can't go to a therapist because they may be a non-believer or whatever, have different faiths. And you just have to be open, to treat people of all different aspects of beliefs,
Of
so.
course, of course. And you can also ask questions. This is your mental health we're talking about.
Mhm.
So when you have an opportunity to have a consultation, it's another way of seeing, are we a good fit for each other? Can I help you? Are these the things that matter to you when it comes
Mhm.
to your therapist?
Right.
And it's nothing wrong with that, to shop around. It's almost like, I don't want to put it like this, but it's like dating. Let me find the right person. Let me make sure
Exactly.
I find the right person, because your mental health is important. Your mental health impacts your decision making. It impacts how you think about things, how you feel about things, every area of your life, even your behavior. So it's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with, calling multiple therapists and narrowing down which one would be a good fit for you. So when
Mhm.
every time someone reaches out to me and we have a consultation and they tell me, oh, I really like your approach, but I have a couple other consultations that I'm scheduled for, that is fine. I
Mhm.
encourage that. That way you could pick the one that best fits your needs. Because
Yes.
that's a part of the healing. Who you
Mhm.
working with is a good portion of
Mhm.
of therapy. It really is. This is someone you're going to sit down and talk to. So why not pick someone that you feel would be best for your needs? And if
Mhm.
it doesn't work out, dust yourself off and try again.
Yeah.
The reason being is, just like there's good doctors, there's not so good doctors, and just like there's good lawyers, there's not so good lawyers. So, in the same
Mhm.
thing comes to therapists. I've heard some not so good stories from therapists in the field, from
Mhm.
clients who did not have a good experience, because
Mhm.
there are good therapists and there's not so good therapists. So it's nothing wrong with fighting the good fight, because you deserve a good quality of life.
Awesome. And with that being said, what is your philosophy on the therapist client relationship and how do you foster trust and communication?
Well, I tell all my clients, especially in the beginning, and this is something I create for myself. So, and what I've gathered from personal experience, and this is why I communicate. My approach falls on three pillars. Um, the first one is just being your authentic self. You get the most out of therapy showing up as your authentic self. And then also doing the work. That's another pillar. You know, what we do in therapy, you got to apply that outside in the real world.
Right.
If you don't, how can we assess your growth? You know, if your goal is to set healthy boundaries and you haven't given yourself the opportunity to vocalize that, then it would be difficult to grow and foster in that area. You know, so it is about, you know, doing it afraid, but still doing it because that's something that you struggle with. And my favorite pillar, you guys, this is my favorite pillar.
Okay.
It's our relationship.
Yes.
Our relationship with each other is one of the key pillars to successful therapy. You
Yeah.
know how much strength it takes someone to go to someone they don't know and say, I need help. A lot of
Mhm.
people don't come to therapy bare. And I'm asking you to be bare. I'm asking you to be vulnerable. And it takes a lot because a lot of us are walking around with this armor on that we have created throughout our entire life to
Mhm.
survive in this world.
Mhm.
Some people are aware that they have this armor.
Mhm.
Some people don't even know that they have this armor on. And here I am telling you, take it off.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, it may be a process layer by layer, but we got to take it off to get to the root of what's going on with you. And I cannot allow you to come to therapy and we don't learn how to disarm and take that time to really sit in what's going on and what you're feeling and learning how to cope with it in healthy ways, because then I'm doing a disservice to you. I
Mhm.
truly am. So we have to peel that armor off. No matter how impenetrable you think it is,
Mhm.
armor will come off, even
Right.
if it takes time. That armor will come off because sometimes the way people show up in the world, they show up in therapy, whether consciously or unconsciously. Have you ever just went to the store or the gas station and some random person tell you, "Hey, how are you?" "I'm doing pretty good." So someone may come in therapy and I may ask, "Hey, how are you?" "I'm doing fine." "How are you really?" Because sometimes that's an automatic response. Naturally, we tell people we are okay. When we go to work and someone asks, "How are you doing?" You say, "You're okay." It's not uncommon for people to like tell you everything that's going on, but for the most part, majority of people will tell you they're okay when they are not, and it becomes an automatic response naturally.
Right.
What define how you're okay is.
And
Mhm.
that's a nuggets. Everybody define how your okay is. And this is a side note, just a side question to piggyback off of what you just said.
Mhm.
How can you, because I know like me personally, I struggle with that. Like when it's like when people say, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, "Yeah," because I'm just so used to doing everything, carrying things and just leaving it. How do you, I guess, get to the point where you are okay enough to be like, "No, I'm not okay." And I don't feel bad for saying that I'm not okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
We have to define what's okay and what's not okay. Because my definition okay may vary from your definition of okay. It goes back to the worldview. Because for some people, okay is look, I woke up this morning, you know, everything else is burning down around me. It's just chaos. It's just, you know, raining struggles. But I woke up this morning, I'm okay. I'm
Mhm.
numbing. I don't want to feel in order to operate. That is my okay.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So there's different variations of okay, and that's one thing I love about therapy because it creates a space for us to put emotions to the words that we may have been suppressing and not knowing we've been suppressing because we're in survivor mode.
Right.
We're in
Right.
survivor mode, and we've learned to live in that, even if it's unhealthy. You will be surprised what the mind and body will do an adaptive way to survive, even if it's unhealthy. If you learn suppressing your emotions to keep moving forward in order to be a mother, in order to go to work, in order to be a wife, then you will operate in that. If you learn to shut down or lash out to protect yourself, you will operate in that. And therapy allows you the space to step back and operate in self-reflection. And that's why I love the approach that I take with creating a relationship with yourself. Self-reflection is a big part of that, because sometimes you're operating in something and not recognizing that you're operating in something. Like, oh, wait a minute, you're telling me this whole time I've been suppressing? You telling me this whole time I lash out because I have a lot of unaddressed issues, and that's my way of protecting myself so people will stop bothering me? And really, the way we communicated the lash out was unhealthy. There's another way to communicate how you're really feeling without lashing out. And that's just me giving some examples of allowing yourself to sit in a space, assess how you're feeling and what's leading you to feel that way. We have emotions for a reason. Our emotions let us know what we like, what we dislike, what irritates us, what disappoints us. You know, emotions occur in waves, right? So if you take a moment and sit back in some self-reflection and you recognize, oh my goodness, I've been in a constant state of sadness for the longest time, and I cannot remember when I felt happy because it's always fleeting. Let me go talk to someone. This time, this feels different from all the other times I tried to push through. Let me talk to someone. So there's a lot of benefits with self-reflection and creating a relationship with yourself, because sometimes we are living in this routine, this mundane routine. I know this is random, but have you ever seen SpongeBob and Squidward was going through his day?
Yeah.
And if you think about that from one moment, he was just going through his day, the routine. Not once did he really show
Right.
a clip of how he felt emotionally. It was just the routine of it all. I don't have time to think about my feelings right now. I gotta keep it pushing. I gotta keep going. But the thing about it is, if for a second we create some time for ourselves and to reflect and get to know ourselves, it can help bring some clarity. Because if it's not work, if it's not the family, if it's not the husband, if it's not friends, or having the TV going while you're also scrolling on the phone, those are all distractions, right? Just carve out some time for yourself, even if it's 5 to 15 minutes of like, let me reflect on my day. How did I feel about today? What's going on with me? Who has checked on you lately? Have you checked on you?
Oh, I like that. I'm gonna post that all week for everybody. Have you
We'll
checked
post
on you
it.
today? Have you
Yeah.
checked on you today? So,
And those are such good nuggets, because I mean, you are just in my video right now, because I have started to learn to do just that. That's self-reflecting on a regular basis, which helps me see things a lot clearer than I ever wanted to before. Because, like you said, you know, we find other things to do than to deal with whatever is going on inside of us. And I'm that person who would just go to work. Work, 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 work. And then now I'm physically exhausted on top of being mentally and emotionally exhausted. Now I don't have time to address my feelings. But now I'm starting to, like, if somebody asks, are you okay? No, I'm not. And we don't have to go into it unless you just really want to talk to me about it. But to be honest, I'm no longer going to lie about that. No, I'm not feeling my best right now. And that's okay.
Yes, that's okay. Even when people come to therapy and I'm like, it's too much. Yes, it's too much. This is too much. No, let's not ignore the fact that it's too much. The key is how are we coping with too much? How are we coping? Because as a therapist, I got to practice what I preach. I do a lot of working too. And over the past few days, I'm like, ooh, I'm tired. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I have this long to-do list. And I told myself, listen, we're finna just watch It Was Agatha All Along. I'm gonna need for you to kind of refill yourself and then start over tomorrow because the to-do list is never ending. There's always going to be something on your to-do list, always. But are you on your to-do list?
Yes, I like that. And so this leads me to this question. And so, of course, we know in our communities, we don't seek help. You know, everybody tell you to run to church, go talk to God, go pray about it. But what encouraging word can you give to someone who knows they need therapy, who feels like they need therapy, but doesn't know where to start?
I have a lot of encouraging words.
And we're here for all of them.
Yes.
Right.
Let's start off with saying that therapy is preventative care. Do not wait till you are in a crisis. Don't do it. And I know it can be difficult for a lot of people because, like I stated earlier, some of us, a lot of us are operating in survivor mode and couldn't identify a crisis until it hit us in the face, right?
Right.
So it's more so self-reflection, checking in with yourself. So keep in mind, therapy is preventative care, recognizing early on, like, who I might need to talk to someone because you deserve to have a good quality of life. You deserve it. You most definitely deserve it. I know sometimes people struggle and it's difficult for them to make a decision to go into therapy because they have a way of dismissing how they feel. Like, oh, other people need more therapy than I do. I'm strong, I'm resilient. You know, you may be the go-to for everybody, and no one knows that you're secretly struggling, and you have convinced yourself and talked yourself out of seeking help for yourself because you feel like other people deserve it or need it more than you do. Don't be dismissive of how you're feeling. Just like we go get a checkup for our physical health, it's nothing wrong with going to a therapist just to check in. Nothing wrong with it. It's therapy, and unfortunately, there's a stigma with therapy, especially in our community. There's this stigma and different beliefs that you have to be severely mentally ill to get therapy. You know, therapy is not just for someone who may be severely mentally ill. People who are empty nesters go to therapy. People who have loved ones that struggle with their mental health may go to therapy to learn more. People go to therapy to get to know themselves. You know, people go to therapy because they may feel anxious or they deal with work stress and learning how to navigate that or navigate relationships, whether it's family or friendships or learning how to set healthy boundaries. People go to therapy for a lot of different things. So, excuse me. So you can just go check in just to see how you're doing. My thing is, if therapy has crossed your mind, go. Just go. If it has even crossed your mind, just go. It's nothing wrong with it. And this is coming from a therapist who goes to therapy. Okay. So let's normalize it. It's nothing wrong with wanting to go to therapy just to see how you can benefit from it or to stop running away from the things you've been suppressing or ignoring.
That's good. That's good. That's whew, that's a good one right there. So with that being said, how can our viewers reach out to you or for additional resources or for help?
Oh, yes. You guys can go to our website at www.mindfulsteps.care. You can also follow me on Instagram, mindfully_Alex, mindful steps for you as well. And I could put it in the chat too, so you guys can post it and everything. Because we have an upcoming webinar that's for free. It is basically grief and loss during the holidays. And for people who register, will get a free ebook with practical tools to help them cope with loss. You know, grief is not just associated with the loved one passing, it can be grief from someone who may still be alive that you're grieving, but you no longer have a connection for or with. So there's different types of loss, there's different type of griefs, and the holidays can be very difficult. It can be very, very difficult. And so feel free to reach out, feel free to register. We always do our best to have free webinars because that increases the access of care, regardless of what state you're in. Other ways to just access resources is that you can talk to your PCP. They often have a referral list. Another way, a referral list of therapists. Another way is online directories. I'm also on Psychology Today, Therapy Dan, Open Path Collective, Therapy for Black Girls, and Therapy for Black Men are some good online directories. Another way to access care is check your local nonprofits or even just the community organizations, because for the most part, they may have some free or low reduced therapy sessions. There's nothing wrong with that. You can also check churches, community centers, because sometimes they may have a support group, workshops. You know, there's different ways to access care. So it's nothing wrong with putting yourself on your to-do list and seeking help.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And if you guys do want to contact Alex, you can email us at openlettertoasurvivor@gmail.com. You could put her name, Alex, or you could put Let's Go to Therapy, and I'll get it forwarded over to her. We do check the emails every day. Also for the webinar, what is the date so we can let people know about it?
Oh, yes, it is November 20th. It will be 6:30 Central Standard Time. I will have two other licensed therapists there too, and it will be a panel discussion. So we'll initially start off with questions, but we will also answer questions because, again, people have different experiences when it comes to grief and loss. So if you want to join, ask some questions, learn some things, and receive a free ebook, please register and sign up. And when you sign up, you are also opting into receiving additional information for other free webinars that we will be doing in the future. We're gonna have another webinar in January about our mindset when it comes to setting healthy goals for the new year and how to set goals in a healthy way. And we have a 5K coming up on Memorial Day for our nonprofit so we can fund our ventures, our mission to increase the access to care so that we can continue to do webinars and wellness programs and conferences. We've had 2 so far. So I'm excited.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Well,
And we
that
are
was one of those questions where we asked what you guys got going on. You just nailed it.
right.
Sorry, I jumped ahead a little bit.
Nope, that's right on time. Right
Yes.
on time.
Yes, it is. And keep us updated because, of course, we'll have you back. And whatever you need from us, you got the support. So,
Of course, have me back. Just keep me in mind. I love this. This was amazing.
well, thank you. So,
Thank
you
you.
you are invited back on the 24th. That's funny because 4 days after your webinar, we're actually doing a panel to close out the month. Our Let's Go to
Oh,
Therapy panel. We're going to invite all of you guys back and just to talk and give your perspective and, to help a few people with questions or everything they may have. So we're going to
yes.
do a live show, but it'll be a panel discussion as well.
Yes, I remember the date. I have it.
Thank you. And so like I said, thank you so much for joining us today. We do have a Let's Go to Therapy segment that we do every week just to give resources for therapy. So if it's okay with you, we will add you to that just so people will know who you are and if they're in Tennessee or Louisiana where they can go to get services from you. We will do that. But before we do that, you can stay on because we bring Tim on. He does our motivational minute. You know, we will be remiss if we didn't give the spiritual side of things. So we'll bring him on. But thank you. You can stay on while he comes in.
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, how's everybody doing?
We're great.
We're good.
All right, I'm glad to be on. I'm glad to hear about therapy, the importance of therapy, because it's so important to reach out to people when things are not going right, and you have to be bold and be honest with yourself, because every time everything's not going to be peaches and cream, but if you reach out and allow the Lord to give you resources and you apply the resources in your life, everything's going to be all right. I'm not going to be too long, but I just want to encourage everyone to know that we ought to always know that God is still sovereign. What sovereign means, God is all still in control. He's the ultimate controller. He's the ultimate healer. He's the ultimate one that's going to make everything all right for you. And despite even what happened last week, God is still on the throne, and the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, and all they that dwell therein. We ought to continually be encouraged and know, lift up your head. Continue to keep your head up, as I tell my football team that all the time when I was coaching them last season and the season before that. No matter what, keep your head up. Keep your head up lifted on high. Keep your head up knowing that God's still going to be on the throne. He's gonna make a way for you somehow. He's gonna bless you. He's gonna give you everything that you need. You may be suffering right now, but I love what Paul says in Romans 8:18. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared to the glory that shall be revealed within us. And God's glory is gonna outweigh all the badness, all the corruptedness, all the evilness, all the stress, all the anxiety. He's gonna outweigh all of that. You may have to suffer a little while, but he's going to bring you through. As even Jesus suffered when he was on the cross and died for all of us. But on the third day, he rose with all power in heaven and earth, all in his hand. You got to always be encouraged. Lift up your heads, O ye gates. Even lift them up, the everlasting doors. And the King of glory shall come in. God's going to come on in. He's going to come on in at the right time. And it may not be when you want him, but he's always on time. Not on your time, but on his time. Stay encouraged. Put God in your life. If you don't have Jesus in your life, I'm not going to preach to you. I'm just going to encourage you. Come unto Jesus just as you are and allow God to bring you through. He's going to bring you to a place you'll never think you can go to. Apply your faith in him. Walk by faith and not by sight. Allow Jesus to do the rest. And I want to leave you with this. Stay encouraged and think on things that's not stressful. Think on things that is positive. Think on things that's gonna help you grow. As in the fourth chapter of Philippians, think on these things. Think on things that's lovely, things that's pure, things that is gentle. Things. Just think on those things. And I'm gonna leave you with things. Think on things that's lovely. Think of things that's of good. Think of things that is of praise. Think on things. Think on Jesus. Allow Jesus to do the rest. He will never leave you nor forsake you. As long as you place your faith and trust in him and give it all to him, and he will direct your path. He will never leave you nor forsake you as long as you place your faith, trust, and belief in him. And allow him to give you all the resources that you need. But first, cry out to him, ask him, and he will do the rest. Pray, and then put your prayers in the work. And then God will put you on a firm foundation, and you will be victorious. You will look good. You will feel good, and you will be good. As you place your faith and trust in him. God bless you, and God keep you. You know I had to put that in there.
Right on,
I saw Tim on today. I had to put that in again.
So Alex, you don't get the joke yet. You'll get it in a second when K Love go to her part. The joke will come full circle. So it's an
Okay.
inside joke. So
Okay.
so thank you,
Thank
Tim.
you, brother Tim, because
Right.
you
Oh, no
gave me
problem.
my segue.
Right. And Tim, we are first of all, I just want to thank you for your commitment because regardless if you at work or not, you still make sure you come on here to get that motivational minute. So we appreciate you for that. Always. And so I do want to tell you just personally, thank you for that.
Oh,
Yes,
you're welcome. To God be the glory. I'm glad you all allowed me to be on here as well. I appreciate that.
yes,
All
yes.
right. Well, thank you, and we'll see you next week. Okay.
All right. Y'all have a good one. God bless y'all.
God bless you.
Okay, now you could go into your segue.
So, our spotlight is about Brother Tim. Today's spotlight is Righteous Brothers from our own Tim Stevens. Contact him on Instagram at right.brothers216. You want to get right, feel right, stay right, so you can grow right. And he has a line of accessories. And I think the launch date is that still December 16th,
December 17th. It'll be
17th.
December 17th, and he'll be our guest for December 22nd to talk about,
Yeah.
that Righteous Brother. So we want you to tune in because he got men accessories, y'all. He got cufflinks and everything. Less
Yeah.
than $40. So he's doing
Yeah.
it. Ties and everything. So he gonna get you right so you can feel right, so you can stay right and you can grow right. So
Yes, yes. And it's not just for men, he's got some stuff for women too.
okay.
And also our own Lena Griffin Mays on her first book, Redeemed and Washed Clean. It's now available on Amazon. So support our sister on her first book. And Marvel, the Strength Production LLC, for custom t-shirts, mugs, and all your custom needs. Reach out on Facebook at Marvel the Strength. And to get on Spotlight, please just email us to Open Letters to a Survivor, and in the subject, put Spotlight. And then our Let's Go to Therapy, we thank you, Dr. Mays, for being here with us. And we want to also add our regular therapist who we always highlight in Let's Go to Therapy, which would be Belinda Williams. You can reach Miss Belinda at chaw.org. And Shamara Hutchins, the Mindologist, on all social platforms. You can reach her. Both of our therapists deal with trauma with our people in our community. And they do awesome work, and they make themselves available for our people and customize their schedule to your schedule. So that way there's no excuse. You can come and get some therapy.
All right. And I'm going to put our social media in the chat box as well. And thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Oh, and then the social media is www.facebook.com/mindfulsteps for the number 4 and then the letter U. That is Facebook. Her Instagram is www.instagram.com. Again, /mindfulsteps4U. TikTok is mindfully_Alex. And the website is www.mindfulsteps.care. That's CARE. You can look her up. And again, you can always email us at openletterstoasurvivor@gmail.com and we'll get you connected. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe for all of our post notifications and everything. We do want to always tell you we love you. We do have Lena behind the scenes. She is our resource coordinator, so she will be the one that will reach out if you guys do need assistance. We did bring her on the team. So Lena is backstage. We do love you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
All right. Take care. God bless.
Mhm.